Tim says, I'm from Belgium, small country, better to distribute in English or in Dutch? Very good question. I mean, I'm from Switzerland, so I know, like, we have 4 languages in Switzerland, so I definitely get the dynamic. So there's several options. Number one is you can pick your battle. Okay, you can say, okay, I'm going to be the best coach in Dutch, right? I actually lived in Belgium, near Brussels, in the French part. But anyway, you can either say, okay, I'm going to be, I want to be the best coach or the best service provider. I want to focus on the Belgian Dutch market, right? Or I don't know if you speak French, Tim. Or in Belgium, there's also a big chunk of people who speak French. So say, okay, I want to I want to be the I want to service the French market in Belgium. So it really depends of your goals. If you want to do English, I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to do if you're doing work in Belgium with Belgian clients, I don't really see the use of doing English. I would rather pick either Dutch or French. If you want to build an online brand, it's different, in that case, I would recommend either doing English and Dutch or just mixing both. But it really depends on, and that's why, I mean, Tim, if you want to give more details for the question, that would help. But it really depends on your goal, your strategy, like your end goal, like the destination, like your objective justifies and really creates the pathway. So it depends of your goal. It depends on, if you're, if you want to sell in French, there's no use in creating English stuff. I mean, Belgium is not a very competitive market, right? I mean, compared to the US. I mean, if you speak French and you speak Dutch, I mean, if I were you, and I would just crush it locally. I would just become the number one player in the space you're in Dutch, right? If if you want to have an international brand, fine, do English. But there's no point in doing English. I mean, in my opinion, there's no point in doing English in Belgium. I would either pick Dutch or French and really crush it. Because I mean, I can pretty much guarantee that if you start building your brand with videos or like a live show or both, I mean, that's what we do. It's going to be really more. I mean, you're going to crush it in Belgium. I mean, no one is really doing it. Even in France, which is a bigger country, very few people are really crushing it in France. For me, the goal, the game, the game is bigger for me in the U.S. and the English market. That's why I'm doing it. France is not interesting to me just because I've done it so much, and I enjoy the US much more, like that market and that mindset. So that's kind of my point of view. Tim says, I want to be a mental coach for sportsmen. There are a lot of foreign soccer players and bikers. Cool. I used to play pro tennis, so I definitely know that field of pro sports and mindset and sports psychology. So look, I mean, if you want to work with athletes, if you want to work in Belgium. So English is a must then. I mean, if you have foreign athletes, English is a must. So that's one thing. Then it really depends on, I mean, if you speak English, French, and Dutch, do it in all 3 languages. I mean, it's not a case of one or the other. I would just do everything, but I would do all languages, but I would be very careful about the targeting, right? If you want to do sports and like pro sports only, that's fine. And then I mean, I've worked with dozens of coaches over the years. Some of them spoke French, some of them spoke English, some of them spoke German, because I was training in the Swiss Tennis Federation for a couple of years. So it's fine. You just need to decide on who you want to service. If you say, okay, I want to train like professional football teams in Belgium, you can do it in French, Dutch, and French, Dutch, and English. So that's my answer to you. So yeah, coming back to market, I mean, if you're in a competitive market, every market is pretty competitive now, but you can really rise above the noise by publishing. The one, like the player who has the most perceived authority in the marketplace wins. Meaning, if you have 5 books and 500 videos, and I don't know, and you've had a show for a year, so you have like 50 episodes, 5 books, and and 500 videos online, and you're competing with the guy who has like you know one ebook on his website. I mean, you win. It's very simple, right? This preponderance of proof. The amount of proof is overwhelming in your favor. But if you're the guy with one ebook and you're going up against guys who already have books and shows and and presence online, it's going to be difficult. So preponderance of proof. Remember that preponderance of proof. You always want to create the biggest possible proof in the marketplace. The best way to do it is really to have a book, right? So having a book, in people's minds, having a book means you're the guy, right? You're the authority. So I would do that. Book. I'm actually writing my 3rd book now, one in French, one in English. So that's the game, guys. The more you can manufacture and produce tangible things with your authority, the more you win.
Go to MatthiasMazur.com to watch the full episode and connect with Matthias on social media. See the links in the description below.